Okay. Hi, Nilam. Hi,
Hello.
Dana. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
I'm so glad that you're here. Uh, it was such a short notice. So people are joining. Great. That's good, actually. So I'm going to actually start, and I want to explain, first of all, what is this Lunch and Learn? And from there, I will obviously, as soon as possible, we'll start to talk. Hey! Great. So I'm not alone. I thought, in such a short notice, I'll be alone, but let me tell you. Um, Yesterday, I had a conversation with my business mentor, and she said to me, like to my face, she said, Noah, you lost connection with your community. That's it. I'm seeing you. I'm seeing how you are acting, and you have lost connection with your community. And she kind of hinted, it's not going to work. I don't like it. I see how you're doing, how you're working, and it's not working. And I said to her, who, me? Me, out of all people, the person who is like like knows how to connect people, love being with people, the person that her students are calling the ICCI a family. I lost connection. But when somebody's so dear to you, he's telling you something like that, and she's been knowing me for years. I really had to look in the mirror, and I know she is right. And I just spoke to Jane before we started that I think this year of cancer, I'm fully recovered. I was recovered quite quickly, but it does linger. The energy was lower when I started to take the medication, etc. And it just it has its toll. And I thought, no, if other people start to feel it, that's it. I really need to do something about it. And I thought, what was the thing that I really wanted to come back to? And I still haven't for so many months. And it is basically giving. And I used to do these lunch and learn every so often. I used to do live on Facebook, and I stopped doing that. I really didn't feel like doing it. So here we go. I thought, no, I'm jumping in. I'm inviting people wherever I can. And here you are. You're with me. That's great. And there are more and more people joining. So that's absolutely perfect. So this is the story behind it. And we're going to do this lunch and learn. To begin with, I am going to talk for about 10-15 minutes. And then I'm going to ask you all to be on mute because this will be like the lesson. I'm hoping that to share that recording. And also, I have a kind of little thought, and tell me later what you think, maybe to just take the audio from this and put it as part of the podcast. And then I will open it to conversation, and we can be here until 1 o'clock. All right. So I'm going to put you all on mute. Um, Mute all. That's it. And then if you want to talk, of course, I'll let you talk. So today's Lunch and Learn is going to be about something that I think so many of us um, are making a mistake about this. And it's not our fault that we're making this mistake, but it is something that we can so easily change. And I'm talking about being relaxed and fully concentrated on a conversation that we have with somebody else, rather than being kind of on edge and not knowing what to do. And there is a really simple, lovely trick that we can use. And first of all, I'll tell you why is it not working? Why so many of us, when we are having a conversation, even with our partner, with our children, let alone when it is the more complicated conversation, let's say something at work, we are on edge. We are alert all the time. It's because this is how we were geared. We were told, we were taught all our life that when we are having a conversation, it is usually a dialogue, sometimes more, but usually a dialogue. And in a dialogue, what we are supposed to do is listen to the other person and then answer, right? That's what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to listen, and then we are supposed to give our answer. And this is working when you are with friends, when you are in a kind of a simple situation, but pay attention that we can do so much more than that. What is happening when we are geared to immediately answer is that instead of listening, but really listening, we are preparing our answer in our head. And like I said, this is how we are all working. This is how society works. We're supposed to converse. And I'm asking you to learn something new, to learn to just listen. And it's difficult because we think when we are so tuned into the fact that we need to find something to say. And we are so even thinking subconsciously that thing we're going to say needs to be clever, needs to be good. We need to look good. If your child is talking to you and is sharing something and asking for advice, you're running the opportunities in your head. What can I say to them? How can I make this situation better for them? Am I going to say next? How is it going to look to hear? How are they going to hear me and really do what I'm suggesting? And we forget to listen because we cannot do both. We cannot listen and then also be 100% with the other person when you're actually preparing your answer. And the answer to that, the solution for that is so simple and it can be scary, but let's understand why is it simple and why does it work? We need to work on ourselves to only be in the listening position. That means that when somebody else talks to us, we are with them 100%. It's not easy. You need to try it and try it again and practice it. Just listen. And whenever we have that little thought of, oh, I know what I'm going to say now. I know what I'm going to ask. No, you have to talk to this little thought and put it aside and say, I am just listening. And what will happen is that when they will stop listening, you will have to believe me on that. What you are about to say will come really naturally. And this is where I'm asking you to learn to just listen, to lift that and to reduce the need to answer, because the beautiful thing will happen that when you will stop listening because they stop talking, and you will take a second or two before you answer, the answer will automatically come and it will be an amazing answer. And it's something that until you try it, you will not be convinced. Now, listening is hard. And I'm going to give you 2 tips of how you can really make sure that you only listen. This is taken from the coaching world, but it's really something that I believe everyone should know. When somebody is talking to us, when we are having a conversation, one of the tricks, one of the ways to make sure that we are only concentrated in what they are saying is repeating what they are saying. You don't need to repeat everything. You just can repeat part of the sentence. If you are tuned to listen to them and remember what they said and then give it back to them, then you are going to be concentrated on that more than about your answer. But there is another trick. This one is, professionally, we call it, I can never say this word, but mirroring. Yeah, like using a mirror, word to word, even if it's just part of it. But the other thing is called paraphrasing. And paraphrasing is all about listening to what somebody said and offering it back to them, saying it back to them, but in different words. So, and the process there is much deeper because you're listening, you are processing in your head, and then you're offering it back. So it doesn't need to be word to word. This is one of the ways. I personally prefer paraphrasing because it is much deeper. It's not just remembering. It means that you really thought about what they said. And the result is, first of all, for them, when we are saying what they said, or when we are paraphrasing, it shows them that we have really listened. And you will be surprised how many people hardly have this opportunity to just be listened to. And they are sometimes surprised. They're like, wow, you really listened. You really know what I'm talking about. But the other thing, and this is coming back to the topic of our conversation today, is that after you did that, there is usually a little moment, and that's when your answer will come so naturally. I promise you. You are clever, you are wise, you know what to answer, and here can come another question maybe, or a piece of advice, depends on what situation you're in. So do not worry that your answer will not come. The more you will be engaged on what they said, the easier it will be for you to give the answer. And it will still be a conversation. But in this conversation, you are going to add this part of really deep listening, understanding, making sure that you understand, and only then giving your answers. And this will reduce your stress. You won't even, it's subconscious, but it is. When you are in a conversation and all you do is listen to another person, knowing deep inside that you will find an answer because it will just come. Even if the answer is, let me think about it a bit more, or I actually don't know what to say. It is better than constantly running after your thoughts and thinking, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? So that's the main part of our lesson of today. Now a little tip, which I think I'm actually going to do a whole session about that alone. It works wonders when you have more difficult conversations. It can be with your boss, it can be with your children, with your partner. When we are having those conversations, a lot of times we are coming with an agenda. We're coming with something we want to say. Come with that agenda. And yet, make sure that you really listen. Because what is happening when you're listening to others, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, the other side will listen to you too. You know, you probably met people who say, I listen to you. Thank you for telling me this and this and this. Is it okay that I share my side now? You know? And that, again, takes the pressure so much. So again, come prepared with what you want to say. But first, listen. We get such a lot of information from just doing that. So I'll recap. Be in a listening place. Don't prepare your answers. Forget about them. You have to practice that, yeah? It doesn't come naturally. And then either repeat or paraphrase, and then say whatever you have to say. You will be surprised how clever your answers are going to be.